Hello,
Hello from me.
and hello from him. This is Jim Bridges,
This is Tom Rayner.
and this is our first broadcast of the Australian Cartoon Museum Cartoon Conversation for the week April 20th to the 25th. Now, I've noticed that when we were running the Cartoon Museum upstairs last year at Docklands, a lot of people who came into the museum didn't know how to read a cartoon. And it wasn't until I actually showed a couple of them how to read a cartoon that they actually, oh, I get it. And I've continually getting these sort of complaints or things off people. Make a film about how to look at a cartoon. So I don't like this idea, frankly. It's like explaining jokes. But I thought, well, we have to do it. We'll give it a go. And if you don't want to hear it, just switch the sound off and look at the cartoons. And
Me too. Can I do that?
oh, yes, okay. Anyway, well, let's get into it. So we have the first cartoon, which is by Craig Mann of the Gold Coast Bulletin, and it's obviously set in a First World War setting, and it's the week leading up to Anzac, and they're in the trenches.
And that actually responds to our position.
Yeah, we're all
At
in
the
the
moment.
trenches at the moment, aren't we? And of course,
Lockdown with the coronavirus.
yeah, and he says
And
the
we
first
all-
wave is over, should be all right now, and we know what's going to happen to those guys because they all got mown down as soon as they stuck their head up. And of course, they've got all the COVID-19 symbols lying in the ground like landmines ready to go off.
I think a really well done cartoon.
Yeah,
It relates to Anzac, but it's also
And-
given the feeling we have now at the moment of being under siege.
yes, and also cartoonists love to get two things, marry two ideas together, which is in that cartoon, and also the next cartoon by Mark Knight. He's married the Anzac Day period into the four Victorian police officers who were killed in an accident when a truck hit them all.
And both of them are on the front line, the police, the thin blue line.
Yeah, and the statue of the Anzac, the fallen. Well, the police were fallen too. Yeah.
So well done, Mark. Now this comes to a good one, the Virgin Airlines.
We're in Virgin territory, Tom, are we?
That's right. Once again, a fatality of the coronavirus. But then I think it's as Mark's showing there, the airline's in deep trouble.
Yeah, very. I love the fact that the government is a plane called the government, and it's got the dollar sign, and it's pumping money into the front of the plane because the fuselage where you normally pump the fuel isn't there anymore. And I love all the detail he's got. All just
I never thought money or fuel became through in lumps.
well, money does. It comes in the lump sum. You
There
know,
must be bags of money coming in.
it's the lump sums, Tom.
The lump sum.
And of course, see how the telephone is hanging off the wall, and there's a briefcase going west, and yeah,
Someone's saying,
oh, it's a little pig dog.
relax.
He always has a little pig dog in the corner, but he's not in the corner this time, is he?
He's hanging on for grim life.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, it's we'll be continuing on our way. Yes. So, and of course, then you have David Rowe always really has he really gets stuck into things. He's really got a apocalypse now approach to things, doesn't he?
And of course, private equity, the vultures
Yeah.
zeroing in on Virgin. Obviously, they're looking at what can we take from this and sell off and make some money out of it.
And see how their claws are clutching the metal like it's material. It sort of gives you that, And of course, the masthead is Branson himself, who doesn't look much like a Virgin, and he's definitely for sale.
Is it him for sale or is it
Yeah.
the airline?
And what's
And Velocity
yes?
abandoned the flight. They're out of it.
So can you explain what that is, Tom?
Well, that's like your flyby points.
Ah, okay. And of course the COVID, it's got COVID on the engines, and they're coming to an end.
Yeah, it's a big fatality of the COVID.
And of course the globe, the whole world of the globe is underneath them.
And no one wants to fly at the
And
moment.
it's not just the globe, it's a COVID symbol, and those little lines, the latitude and longitudinal lines, sort of tell you it's the world.
Yeah.
They're flying high.
And of course we have the government flying in their little Kitty Hawk.
Kitty Hawk.
John Spooner, brilliant.
I think it's a made-up plane. I think.
Well, it seems to be just held together with
Yeah.
string.
Yes. And if you notice that he's looking at his flight plan, Scott Morrison, who's the pilot, is looking at his flight plan, and it's just a budget. It's just money. So he's more concerned about the money.
Ah, spreadsheet.
Yeah, and of course, meanwhile, over in the background, Virgin's going down, SOS, but it is an overseas-owned airline, isn't it?
Yes, and but Brenton, he just actually doesn't run it anymore. He just gets paid 150 million a year for the use of the name.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
of course he wants to see it keep going.
And I love that. I love Spooner's. I love the way he paints his watercolours on his cartoons. They're just lovely to look at. But I love the little detail of the seagull just on the top wing, and it's as if the plane's not even moving. There's no, the way it's. And of course you have the opposite, the complete opposite on the other side of the page, which is Andrew Dyson, which is the plane tail sticking out of the water.
Yeah, it's absolutely ditched.
And the hand is just reaching out for the handout.
Save me, save us, please.
Yeah.
I think it's it's a toss up between jobs, but as we'll see, the Harry Bruce's one that
From the
Virgin's
Cairns,
gained it away of Holden.
from the Cairns Post, and of course it's on the bricks. See, it's on the bricks. It's stuck up.
Yeah.
It's lost its wheels, and of course
The best parts have been taken from it, and just
Yeah.
the shells left.
and Scott Morrison is
Tony Abbott's no.
yes, that's right. Well, Scott Morrison is now signalling the same signal as the plane is getting parked. And the pilot's got a tear in his eye as he's backing in. But I think it's quite funny too, is also because planes can't back in. They can't reverse. They can't reverse. So they normally have a tug pushing them in, and I just think that's funny.
Oh, well, that might be a metaphorical.
And it's just as funny on the other side because Mark Knight's got it in a second-hand car dealership.
Oh, well, it could be a bargain for somebody. And he got a couple of tyre kickers.
Yeah, the tyre kickers, and of course you've got the sleazy sunglasses, used car salesman.
Yeah, would you buy a used aeroplane off that guy?
And of course you've got the guy down the front walking with the mask on, which sort of just sets the scene.
And are they appropriately social distance in there?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And of course we've got Scott Morrison saying that top paddocks he live with kangaroos.
Yeah, but
And
what
there's
sort of kangaroos?
Qantas kangaroos.
Yeah, Qantas kangaroos, yeah.
Qantas will love this because, once again, it's the only airline left in Australia.
And they're in the red, according to that cartoon.
Well,
But I like the way he draws the cocky.
Yeah.
The cocky, it's a cocky because of the hat, and it's just on his head, and you've got a bit of barbed wire there. And,
What do they call them? The hats, I can't remember the name of the hats.
yeah, but he always draws farmers with hats like that. They're
Yeah.
just sitting on the head.
And then we have,
we got lucky.
Malcolm.
We're getting lucky here.
Yep.
It's
Josh.
obvious. It's got apologies to AAMI, which is the ad, where the people are stuck up Ship Creek, between Whoop Whoop and Ship Creek, and well you
And Malcolm and
no, it's not Malcolm.
Josh. Yeah, Malcolm. Oh no.
No, that's
Well,
that's
it's
Scott Morrison and
Scott.
and what's his name?
Josh Frydenberg.
That's right.
And do they contemplate Plan B?
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure what Josh is going on about. Oh my God.
I think they're
Are
closer.
we at Ship Creek?
I think they're closer to Shit Creek than Ship Creek.
Yeah. Well, at
Yeah.
least they got a bike each as they go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have a look at the rego number, it says COVID-19.
Yeah. Well, they are in unprecedented times.
Yeah, it's good to see the economy turned
Yeah.
into a caravan. You know.
Pretty mobile. And David Rowe, he's got the big question mark over the economy.
Yes.
All levels, from the boardrooms right down to the front line.
Yeah.
COVID's really reaped destruction on them all.
And if there's anything that's circular that needs to be put in a cartoon, it gets turned into COVID symbol, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And once in small business, bleeding, losing money left, right and centre, not being able to open, and the government saying, well, consider giving up golf for another 4 weeks.
It's quite shocking, this cartoon, because his legs off and
Yeah,
there's blood
bit
everywhere.
brutal.
And of course, look at the face of Scott Morrison.
He's not happy.
Mm.
And Victoria, Mark Nightshaw and Dan happen to reside over an almost dead economy.
Yeah.
Looks of it.
That's the good news. The good news is we've only had one death of COVID-19 overnight. The bad news is
The debt.
yeah, the debt. The debt lives on. That's quite funny. The debt lives on.
Yeah.
Dan the man. And of course, while all this is happening, Malcolm Turnbull decides to publish his book.
Yeah, how wrong can you get it wrong?
Well,
Who
in
knows? The middle of a epidemic, no one can go to bookshops, and you have a book launch.
We can buy it online, all that sort of stuff
Yeah,
too.
but, and not really a time no one's really interested in what Malcolm's got to bitch about.
Well, I think that Tom Jellett's done a great cartoon
Yeah.
here, because there's the two faces of Malcolm Turnbull. He's obviously smiling on the cover of his book, but
And the book's full of criticism and revenge of his fellow liberals.
and I think the bigger picture is another reference to the picture behind the book picture, which is actually the actual Malcolm.
Yeah.
So that's the bigger picture.
And there's Malcolm trying to sell it door to door.
Yeah, and I love this cartoon because of all the toilet rolls, the paper toilet rolls, all completely using up the house.
Are you saying that book readers hoard toilet rolls?
No, but it's just that look at all those toilet rolls.
Yeah.
They're just, and it's just so funny. And of course, Malcolm's waving, and he's got his book, Meet the Author.
And no one can go out.
That's right.
It's not appropriate social
It's
distancing.
definitely not appropriate. No, it's to publish or not to publish. That's the question.
And on the other page, we've got the Liberals. They're all out to get Malcolm.
And all the talk was about they're getting an app to track the
They
COVID-19
look more
people.
like a,
But this is an app to track
atomic
Malcolm
weapon to
Turnbull.
me.
So because he's criticised the whole Liberal Party, he's Peter Brolman.
I do like the one of Tony Abbott looking up the exhaust.
Yeah, yeah, like it's a telescope or something. Yeah,
Point Piper, well, that's where Malcolm lives, isn't it? So
yeah.
and can they get that off them, launch it? This is
Yeah.
the whole thing, the whole app.
Yeah.
Are they going to do it, or like all government things, is it going to be a lemon?
Yeah.
I sort of think a robojet.
Mm.
They're all over it, but even Potato Head has got can.
Who's
Sergeant-
Potato Head? Who's Potato Head?
Um,
For all the uninitiated out there.
yeah, well, that's
Dutton.
Peter Dutton.
Yeah.
And we're on the contact tracing app again. And will they get people to do it?
And
Download
David
it.
Pope draws Scott Morrison as as the clown from the Simpsons with his hair, because he doesn't have hair like that, but that's where he started to draw him as. And of course, if you look at the symbol of the COVID-19 symbol, it's actually it's Dutton, Mr.
Yeah, and
Potato
I
Head.
think what they're saying, or David's implying here, that is there enough distance from the
The
Peter
unpopular,
Dutton?
the
Yeah,
unpopular
he just,
Dutton.
you know, is he going to, are their information going to be private, or
Yeah,
are they going to, you know, look who you're associating with?
that's
Where
right.
you
and,
go.
and therefore it won't be successful.
Yeah.
The tracing app, and of course more on the tracing app, COVID roaming app, crap.
No one believes him. He
No.
can't
No.
convince anyone.
Matt Golding is he took over from Ron Tanberg when Ron Tanberg died, and he was a pocket cartoonist, and it's a very tough job to fill. But Matt produces a lot of cartoons every week, and lots of them are terrific. They just blow you out of the water.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, I reckon.
Like this one, for instance, a tracing app,
Yeah.
which will save lives, but I value my privacy too much. As he's walking down the street of Facebook with the cameras
Well,
on both
that's it.
sides.
People are complaining about the government app,
Yeah,
and yet we allow Google and Facebook
yeah.
to spy upon everything we do.
Well, they know more about Google and Facebook know more about us than the government does.
Yeah,
that's for
you
sure.
know, like they can tell you everywhere you've gone and
Yeah.
what you're buying and stuff like that. You only need to go online and suddenly, you know, what you just search for, suddenly you're seeing the ads for it.
And that's exactly what Mark Knight's saying as well. But I love the little detail how the trendy couple are saying these things, whereas the dog's not going along. It's you know, it's actually dragging the
Yeah, leave.
behind, and I think the dog senses it's not. It's
It's under observation.
well, I think he's trying to social distance himself from his owners. And what did the little pig dog say? Just shoot me. Just shoot me. Yeah.
And Pete Roman,
On the same subject,
Yeah.
virus tracking app, Peter Brolman.
I've got a feeling I've been followed.
Yeah, it better not be that app. And of course, it's death. And if you see death behind the tree, is all that sort of smoke at the base of him because he's been running.
But it raises a question, this app's supposed to tell you if there's someone who's got it. If someone's got it, they shouldn't be out, should they?
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
It doesn't tell you who hasn't got it. It
Yeah.
tells you of who has.
And of course, when you do get this, where do you collect all the stuff? So, John Farmer, Polly is his nickname from the Hobart Mercury, reckons that it all goes into these computers.
Well, people like everyone's going to the bottle shop.
Yeah.
You
of course-
don't need an app.
and,
And
and,
people are just drinking.
and of course, in the right-hand corner, you just have a couple of spare rolls of toilet paper just hanging around because, well, why not? You know, you never know when you might need them.
Well,
you know?
they're all out there and not in the shops.
I think they're showing off.
Here we are, the US, good old USA. Make American graves again.
Yeah, this is a pretty powerful cartoon by Matt Golding. It's printed in the paper pretty small, and some people didn't even see the death
Well,
mask.
these Americans are protesting against shutdown,
Yeah,
lockdown,
Yeah.
stay at home. They saying they'd rather have liberty or death, but don't tell us what to do.
yeah, yeah. And of course, make America great again becomes Graves again, and of course he's
But
got.
there's, look at Americans of Medicare or Medicare. Their belief is, why should I pay for your Medicare? It's up to you to look after yourself. And I think it's the same attitude here. Men in the street with guns, grown men with guns, for God's sake. What are they afraid of?
Well, that's another thing. You see, the cartoonist always plays with the words and the symbols, and of course, I mean NRA as part of. I mean that's not how you spell Corona, is it?
No.
He's put the R in the wrong place, but it tells the story anyway, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, because the Americans are going out in the street with guns to sort of show their protest, not killing anybody, but, and of course, this refers to the medical staff who stood on the
who want them to
move on because they were blocking
social distance and stay at home.
but they were blocking the hospital. They couldn't get in, and of course. This is a continuation of the same thing. And Kathy,
liberty or death.
Yeah, Kathy Wilcox from the Sydney Morning Herald, and it's very funny because don't you care about those 40,000 people dying of COVID-19? And
we kill that many each year with guns.
Yeah.
What's the point?
we shouldn't be laughing at that.
But it's true though. You got to laugh at their logic.
And of course. Simon Lech of the Sydney Morning Herald, he does symbolic cartoons, and THEM, they're all boxes. They're all
well,
coffins.
The dead are gone. It's about us living.
The US,
yeah,
us, yeah, and talking about the states that are going against the president. That's what it's also about. Yeah, and
ships.
Yeah,
Death ships.
A beautiful colour, watercolour of Spooner again. Yeah. And see, Australia is represented by a kangaroo in a tree and a grassy knoll.
Actually, do you know that the biggest amount of infections in Australia have come from people off boats?
Yeah, well, they call them call them the Petri dishes, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's
at least they can say we stopped the boats.
Well, they stopped one in particular. Any port in the storm. Very funny. Yeah. Very funny. And it's beautifully drawn. Beautiful. The colour's beautiful.
It's a work of art in every one of them.
And of course, then you have Glenn Lelivra, Corona Mickey.
I think that typifies the whole of America.
Well, I think that's going to be a T-shirt, frankly. And of course, as I said, the cartoonists, if they see a circle, bingo, they'll turn it into a COVID symbol. Now, this is funny because we all know what the 19th hole is.
Well, we've got people, sportsmen, and some, we won't mention football, ex-football players who say, why can't we play golf?
Yeah.
And
also, the president wants to play golf.
Yes. But it's all about the social distancing.
Yeah.
And we've seen it with the beaches, where people go down the beach, but it's difficult when to have social distancing in a crowd. So rather than confuse people, the government should have no golf.
Well, it's also a class thing because the average person can't really play golf at the moment, can they?
Yeah, so why should they be allowed to?
And of course, Matt Golding has turned the scythe into a golf club, and the ball, and
I love the face mask.
Yeah, the flag. But the 19th hole is so funny because the 19th hole is where you go and get
there, have a drink.
Yeah, and of course it's the drink of hemlock, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the last drink.
But what he's suggesting in here is that get creative. People have been turning DIY art masterpieces.
Yeah, now it's got an egg, a Pringle and some Lego. Now what does that mean?
Well, people are just taking common objects and turning them into works of art.
Okay.
They're dressing up like the old masters' paintings and stuff like that.
I think this cartoon in particular is, I think it's going to be symbolic of the era, and probably whenever they have cartoons about the COVID virus in the future, they'll probably use this picture.
There's going to be a toilet roll in there somewhere.
Yeah, because it's from the Magritte picture, which has an apple in its place. There's an apple in front of the man's face.
Yeah. Brilliant. It's really good day. I think Golding does extremely well there.
Yeah.
And that's about it. That's this week's roundup. So leave a comment below if you liked it or not.
Yeah, support us on Patreon and give us some feedback.
We appreciate that if you like what we're doing, and check out toontalk.show for our other videos online. We've got quite a few. How many have we got now?
We've got over 300. We've made 300 films.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll try and bring you the best of the political cartoons every week, once a week. So yeah, check
Thanks
out
for your time.
Yeah, and thanks. It's good to have a cartoon conversation with someone as opposed to because conversations are dying out, aren't they, Tom?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, it's goodbye from him.
And goodbye from me.